Hi everyone, welcome back to Dunrovin Ranch in lovely Lola, Montana. It's a gorgeous day. Compared to how it's been these last few months, to quote my mother's favorite film, Biloxi Blues, it's Africa hot today. I'm cleaning up the ponies here. This is also, to horse people, known as shedding season. And this is when you do not wear chapstick, and you shouldn't have on sunscreen because you'll turn into Sasquatch. I'm Ranch Manager Kelly. It's a pleasure having you with me today. On At the Corral, we're going to talk about Pony Club, which started this week. Pony Club is our umbrella term for the 3 different programs we have in the spring and in the fall, where we do our best to get little kids addicted to horses so their parents never have a savings account again. We started on Monday. Monday and Wednesday, 2 o'clock, we have our homeschool groups. They start at 2 o'clock because they don't have a full school day in the public school system. And then at 4 o'clock on Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday, we have our first Pony Club session. And then this season, Mondays, we have a later session, 5:45 to 7:15. And on Friday, we have our older kids, our teenagers, and they come and hang out with us from 4 to 6, and they become our apprentices. They learn how the ranch runs, they learn how to ride, and then if they would like, they can apply to be our ranch hands at a later date when they turn 14. So what you'll see when the little ones show up, we get them as young as 3. And today I think we have a 5-year-old and, how old is, maybe 6. I think on Monday we had a 3.5-year-old. Monday. So I'm getting the ponies ready right now, getting some of this hair off them. And I thought I would show you a little bit about how we accommodate the littlest of our riders. So again, these are our co-captains, Lewis and Clark. It's unlikely you can tell them apart from behind, but I'll show you Clark. Hey buddy, do you want to go have a close-up? So if you look at it, this is Clark, little boy. Clark's blaze, you see how thin the white stripe down his face is? It's pretty narrow. It does not cover his eyes at all. Now Lewis, his blaze covers part of his eye, and that's pretty much the only way you'll be able to tell them apart. Personality-wise, they're quite different. Clark has the more energy of the 2, and they are spectacular. Ponies have a well-deserved reputation for being a little problematic sometimes. A little attitude, a little this, a little that. And these guys are terrific. They're actually half horses. They're half what's called a halflinger and half Shetland pony. What I'm doing now is getting their winter coats off. Often the kids want to come and they want to groom, but really they want to groom for a few minutes. And we all need to get this hair off. I'm sure it feels good. Does it feel good, boys? Do you believe this? This is crazy. For those of you out there who've had horses, you understand what shedding season means. It's good for the birds. We can find birds' nests with some of our horses' hair in it. I'm sorry, but once you start this, it's kind of hard to stop. Everyone who rides at the ranch, including our guides, must wear a helmet. It's smart. It is so smart to protect your head. Susanna and I talk about this every so often, is people will talk about a freak accident that happens on a horse. The horse spooks and takes off, runs you under a tree limb, falls down. These are not freak accidents. It's what happens. It's just what happens, and when you get into riding, you have to understand that things can go south quickly. Could be no big deal, could be terrible. You want to protect your head. So we have these riding helmets. This is a Troxel brand, good brand. And we have quite a few of these in all sizes inside the tack room. We even have quite a few marked XS, extra small. They are small. Show you. Those fit 3, 4-year-olds. Everyone wears a helmet. We ask them to go, the little ones even, to go fit themselves to find out which one fits them best. They'll put it on their head, shake your head. If it moves too much, it's not going to do you much good, so we ask them to go to a size smaller. We ask that the chin strap be quite tight so the helmet does its job. And I really haven't had too many kids for whom this is too big. Another way we accommodate all the kids, really, no matter what age, is we have a curry comb and a body brush connected by a thin, smooth rope. That way, they can walk around with the grooming utensils around their neck. They don't drop them on the ground. These don't get left all over to be stepped on. And you can easily hold one in your hand while you use the other brush. We show the kids how to groom. For those of you who are not familiar, the curry comb you use, hey buddy, to go in circles. He's looking at me like, I'm kind of liking that. This brings the dirt up to the surface. That's its main purpose. And once you do that, you get the body brush and you brush the dirt off. This could take quite some time to get them clean. And we teach the kids how to do that. We don't clean the feet too often. We like them to get packed with dry dirt and dry sand, and it protects the sole of the foot. Their feet are cleaned. Obviously, if they're lame, we'll check their feet. And when they're trimmed once every 6 weeks or so, the farrier cleans their feet out thoroughly. And because it's so dry here, and because we keep the stalls so clean that we don't have to worry about thrush. Thrush in a horse's foot is basically a bacteria. It's a bacteria that acts like a fungus, I think, something like that. It's gross, it's smelly, and it's basically an infection. So that would be the reason to keep your horse's feet clean. But again, because it's so dry here, once the season rolls around, we don't really have to worry about that. We like the kids like to brush their faces. That's fine. A lot of the kids like to love on the ponies like they're dogs. And I explain that they're not dogs, and I do a little bit of explaining why. If they're old enough to understand the difference between a predator and a prey, without getting too graphic, I try to explain that. And it's the beginning of understanding that the relationship they're going to have with their horse or pony is really special. It's really a special thing. They also learn that this is not Disney, that this is not Spirit. I do a lot of talking with the kids about Spirit, who is, I think, a buckskin Disney character, buckskin horse. We also talk a lot about safety around a horse, of course, and what the horse can see and why you don't jump up right behind them. And we go through the whole thing about how to be safe and really respectful of the horse, because they don't have to let us do this at all. The kids are really wonderful about it. They really listen. They really listen. They're here because they love horses. They draw pictures. You know, if you were that kid, you understand completely where they're coming from, and we want to make this a really positive experience. That being said, we're teaching them to ride. Unless they're here to be led around for a half hour or so, we really teach horsemanship. You can learn, I learned when I was 4, you can learn horsemanship at any age, 4 to 84. So that's the most important thing, horsemanship / safety. To me, they go hand in hand. Now, of course, because they're ponies, and of course, because we have little tiny riders, we have little tiny saddles. So we have a couple of these saddles. I mean, isn't this adorable? It's tiny. And can I demonstrate on you, Mr. Clark? 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 Can I demonstr you go. So this fits him very well. It's very comfortable. I'm not going to cinch that up, so don't make me look foolish by moving quickly. So that's a good fit on him. All about saddle fit. And then, believe it or not, as short as these stirrups go, so as short as these go, I'll lead him around in a second. So these stirrups, can you move over a little bit? Can you bump into your brother? They're not really brothers, but one more time. You don't want to? All right, let's come over here. I'm going to hold this on. So as short as that stirrup goes, sometimes that's too long for our littlest riders. And we have a couple different names. We call these buddy stirrups. And I think they're to have a buddy, a little kid ride in front of an adult, I think. But also, they go even higher than the shortest stirrup length that our little kid saddles go. So I don't think I've had anyone who can't sit in this. Something you might notice is the littlest riders, or the kind of nervous little riders. We like to have a parent or the grandparent, whoever brought them, it's often a grandparent, go with us and put a leg on their child to help with balance, to help with security, and to help to feel good. And sometimes the kids say, "No, Mom." And sometimes you can see that they're very nervous. They want this so bad. But once you're actually near a real live pony, it's a lot different than watching a movie or reading a little book. It's okay. Something I've learned also is that if they're very nervous, then what you can do is talk about anything else. Often I'll be leading one of the ponies around, or I'll have a young rider out in the arena, and you ask them when they got out of school and where do they live, and how long was the drive? Do you like to read? Do you have any brothers? And soon they're talking, and they don't realize that they're relaxed and they're actually enjoying what they're doing. I find a lot of kids these days come with a gymnastics background or a soccer background, and those kids have much better body awareness than a kid who hasn't really had a lot of physical training. And those kids do very well very quickly because their balance is good. It's if you've never been on a horse, there's 4 legs and lots of muscles moving in all kinds of different ways, and if you're nervous and you're not used to it, it feels like there's an earthquake happening underneath you. So relaxing them is really important. Something else we do for balance is you'll see us ask them helmet out, knees, hips, touch your nose, hands behind your back, all kinds of things. So they're developing balance. The chatters often say that I'm giving them a DUI test because it looks like that's what they're doing, but they're really just developing their balance. We do have some of the little kids, 5 years old, 6 years old, sometimes we put them on a horse. Our horses are very mellow. And who we've been using this week, we've been using Flynn, Raz, Butte, Rocket, and Whiskey. Flynn's doing well, I think. We put him into the group in the beginning of this year to get him going. You'll see lots of kids in new cowboy boots and new little shirts. Lots of bling on little pink and little blue shirts. A lot of them, this is a dream, and they've been bothering their family for a lot of months and a lot of years even to come ride a pony. And it really matters to us that we get them started on the right foot, and that includes listening to us. They like to walk around. They like to look around, rather, and we remind them that while you're paying attention over there, your horse might be paying attention over here. So how, you need to get his attention. You need to be partners. You need to do this together. And they start to get it. They really do. And you can tell the ones that really want to ride and that want to come back and enjoy the challenge of paying attention and following directions and learning how to use their muscles. And then there are some that just want to be led around, which is fine too. But they learn quickly, and their parents learn quickly that they might not be in this for the long haul. I had a little girl the other day who was doing fine. She's 6. She was on a horse, full-size horse, and she said, "I want you to lead me." And we said, "No, you're doing absolutely fine. You don't even look nervous. You can ride that horse all by yourself." And they do, but sometimes they don't want to put in that effort. And once she realized that, oh, I guess I can do this, her face just lit up. Another little girl was having trouble turning the horse, and I had to say, you have to use your muscles, because when you're 6, you don't have a lot of upper body strength, in other words. So they have to develop those muscles as well. It's tough. It's tough, but nearly everyone rises to the occasion. Everyone leaves with a smile. They have to brush the horse after, because we are not their grooms. They don't show up, get on, and leave. Most of them want their own pony, and it's work. 90% work, 10% riding. But if you enjoy the riding, the work is just as enjoyable. Today at 4 o'clock, we have 4 little girls. One might be 11 or 12. She's been here before. But I believe we have 3 little ones. Lila is going to take the smallest. If we have 2 on ponies, she's going to take them into the round pen. And I'll have the older, or the oldest and the most comfortable younger one into the arena. That's safer, and she can concentrate on her kids. I can concentrate on my kids, and everyone has a good time and everyone learns something. That's what we're planning to do. I don't know, I almost called you Jake. Oh, how scary is that? I don't know, James, if there are any questions out there in TV land for me. Here's one thing, I almost forgot one thing, is that sometimes we use bridles on the ponies, but sometimes I prefer just to put these short reins on them. These are made for the ranch. We make these ourselves, because if a child has no idea how to use their hands, I think it's just as effective, really, to have them pulling on the halter rather than pulling on the pony's mouth. So often you will see these connected to a halter while we're leading the pony sometimes, so they can practice holding the reins loosely, because they all start with a death grip. So that's why sometimes you will see these on the halter. I'm going to throw Lewis and Clark back in their stalls, let them finish their lunch, and then around 3:30 or so, Lila and I will get the horses out, get the horses ready, so we don't spend a ton of time getting the horses ready and taking time away from riding. You'll see as we go on that the new kids will show how to halter and lead, how to tie. We'll saddle the first time or two to get them on. And then slowly over the 6 weeks, and I tell the parents this, if we did everything that they needed to know before they got on, they'd never get on in 6 weeks. So we kind of add every session a little more education, but give them plenty of riding time, because after all, that's really why they're here. Thanks for joining me. I hope you enjoy watching Pony Club. It really is fun. Tomorrow's the last day of our first week, and there will be 5 consecutive weeks following. And in the middle of that, actually, we will be starting our trail rides. I'll be going out with Hawk to help clear the trail for our part-day ride, and I know that very soon we'll be getting ride requests, and I'll be finding substitutes for myself for the teaching of the pony clubs, and I'll be heading out taking some wonderful guests on a trail ride. thanks for joining me today. I appreciate you taking your attention or holding your attention away from the birds who are up there. Hallelujah is back. I do kind of feel bad for the guy that was there before, because wasn't he stepping up? I think he brought some fish. I think he did his manly thing, and I wonder if Harry has laid eggs yet from the first guy. Anyway, the drama has settled down for a minute, but if we know Harriet, we know we know that it's not over yet. Thanks so much for joining me, y'all. If you have any questions or comments that come to your mind later, go ahead and put them in the chat or in Dunrovin Ranch discussions, and I will get to them. Thanks for joining me. Have a lovely day. Bye.